So it's Parashat
Toldot.
There is a critical and fundamental difference between materialistic assets to spiritual assets. Spiritual assets like wisdom, honesty, humbleness, or even restraint. These are assets which are an integral part of the person's personality, who really is. When we're talking about regular possessions like wealth, materialistic possessions, they're not a part of you. They're not a part of you. By the way, it's very interesting if you pay attention, that while a spiritual essence really helps the person as long as it is inside of him, right? While you're acquiring those assets, they become a part of you, they really help you. When we're talking about physical assets, it only brings you only get benefit when you let go of them or when they leave you. So when we're talking about, if you look at the present time of where we are, you could really learn that really the only thing that is your assets, only thing that is yours, is really your spiritual assets and what you acquire for yourself in terms of your spirituality. But in a way, it's not. It's not all black and white. It's not all black and white. By the way, guys, thank you very much to Idan for making this amazing chulet.
Thank you, Idan.
Thank you, Idan. This shiur is dedicated to Refuah Shlema of Mazal Bat Leah and Chaim Israel Halevi Ben Batya and all those who are in captivity. May Hashem set them free, because it says, "Let my people go."
Amen.
So, if you look at this, when you're talking about money, could be millions or even billions, could really be erased within one day. Everything could be taken away from you within one day. Really, the only thing that a person has is anything that he acquires in terms of his spiritual acquirement, whatever you got spirituality. However, as we said, it's not all black and white. It's not all black and white, because physical wealth is not really a bad thing as long as you do the right thing with it. As long as you will help you acquire the maximum spiritual capacity. Well, in that case, that's okay. And we need to remember that. This week's parasha really talks about the brachot that Yitzchak gives. Yitzchak, one of the patriarchs, gives to Yaakov. On those brachot, those blessings really should be altogether be given to Esav. And Yaakov, with a little bit of help of Rivka, also known as Rebecca, right, takes the brachot without the father knowing, or maybe, I'm not quite sure about that, but Yitzchak needs to say really kind of agrees with the trick in which they pulled out. As soon as the whole trick is being revealed, he kind of goes along with that. And that all these brachot will go to Yaakov, and the brachot of Esav also he will get. But if you really look at this, the whole event is very weird. Yaakov, as we said before, Ish Tam Yoshevo Alim. He is a whole person. He sits in the tents and learns Torah all day long. From morning until night, he deals with spiritual, issues, where the outside world, the materialistic world, does not seem to bother him so much. So why is it that Yaakov Avinu, you are in Yeshiva learning all day long, why is it that all of a sudden Yaakov Avinu makes such an effort to get the brachot that really belong to Esav, when it refers to Tala Shamayim or Mishamnei Haaretz, all the abundance, all the weather? Why does he need this physical abundance? It seems like the spiritual, the spiritual stuff that he has is not enough. What's going on with it? Or maybe maybe because of that, we could learn that really it's not so bad to have a little bit of, moolah, chiching in your pocket. I mean, after all, maybe it is good. Why does he need so much? But again, things are not necessarily good or bad by nature. It's more what you do with them. You need to understand that even physical possessions are nothing more than a platform that allows men to survive. You need to live. So it's a platform. It's not a goal. It's not something that you should strive, that you should direct your life towards that. A person who directs his life to have only materialistic, to have more money, right, is a person that basically lives meaningless life, a life with no purpose. You need money. That's why the Rambam says that even a person that learns needs to have some work with him, something, because otherwise you're going to come to do things that are not societally approved or right to do. You're going to cheat, you're going to become lazy, you're going to oppress and abuse the power given to you. You need to have money. For your own self-dignity. You need to generate some money, some income. So in a way, so you feel also good about yourself. You need to understand that. But it has to have a limit, and you have to understand why are you doing what you're doing. People think that people make money into their gods. That's what it's all okay. Whatever it takes to make more money, it's okay. And by the way, don't talk to me about halacha, about what to do the right thing about money, because I really want to do it, because money is above the law, right? That's the attitude that you get many, many times with people. But even when it comes to that, we are bound by halacha. Because the halacha gives us the parameters in which we could do the right thing, utilize the financial possessions that we have, or physical assets that we have in the right way. In other words, make that a platform. It's not a goal; it's the platform. It's just a vehicle to get you to somewhere. And we need to remember that, and not to fall into the trap that most people very conveniently fall into. So that's very, very important. When that happens, when you realize that physical acquisitions that you make are just a platform to help you get better into your spirituality, so all of a sudden that becomes a bracha for you. That's become a blessing for you, because you're doing something good with it. However, if you don't push yourself and seek to progress, and you see that your physical essence, your gashmi, everything that is physical, is the purpose of your life, you're going to find yourself in an endless race to reach that extra money that you, by the way, never going to reach. You're never going to reach that. And you'll see that a lot of people with a lot of money become wicked. All these multi-billionaires out there, without mentioning names, but you get all the names out there, all the Bills and all the Georges and all the other people like that. At the end, with all this extra money, become wicked people. Wicked. That's bad. That's not a way to live life. That's not a way that a human should live life. Not only a Jew, a human. So, and instead of giving you a sensation of fullness and completion, that you feel fulfilled, you're always going to feel that you need more. Because Chazal tells us, En Adam niftar min ha'olam v'chatzi ta'avato beyado. You have 100, you want 200. You have 1,000,000, you want 2,000,000. In other words, you're never going to get what you want. Let's say a person has $40 billion. 40 billion. What do you need all this money for? What are you going to do with it? If you're going to spend it, if you're going to spend $1 million a day, let's say you're 40 years old. Let's say you're 30 years old. and you have $40 billion. You're going to spend $1 million a day. I mean, I don't know why you're going to be spending $1 million a day. You know how many days it will take you to spend all your money?
40,000 days.
40,000 days. It's a few lifetimes, for crying out loud.
Wow.
Some people spend 10 on it.
4,000 days.
Okay. Okay? I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Why, and you never feel fulfilled. You never feel, okay, you know what? Thank God I'm okay. I have enough. I'm okay. Let's do something now. No, you always want more. Why, for example, Bill Gates needs so much land? I mean, what for? What are you going to do with it? He's going to live forever? Listen, even Bill Gates has an expiration date to him. Everybody does. Why do you need so much land? Why, are you going to make your own country? What do you need all these things for? It's just unbelievable. And yet, you see some Pashut Jew somewhere say, oh, how are you, Baruch Hashem, everything, I'm fine. It's not that he's lazy. It's not that he's not motivated, but he's very content with what he has. That's a totally different way to live life. You better think, and I'm telling you that based on this week's Parashat, you better think very carefully, where in the world are you going with your life? Where are you going with your life? What are you doing to really being worthy to live life? Is this what you came here for? To be an unsatisfied person that never has enough? Just think about it. Think about how much you deny yourselves. In, let's say, going to college and picking up a field that you're interested in. Let's say you're interested in microbiology, but you're saying, no, I'm going to go into computers because that's where I'm. It's like this in the world out there. The average Jewish mother always wanted her son to be a lawyer or a doctor. In Israel, it became different. Every good Jewish Israeli mother wants her son to be a high tech. Why? Because you make money. Well, how about being happy? And it goes so deep in our society that our schools are designed for that, not to really make kids happy. So the whole society is almost, and you want to see, you're going to argue with me that schools do a good job? Really, take a good look around you. Now, it does not make a difference if you're in England, or you're in the United States, or in Israel, or for crying out loud in Saudi Arabia. They all do lousy jobs. They deny who you are. Then they teach you to deny who you are, to deny what you really want. You're not allowed to, today you're not allowed to call anybody anything. But even more so, you're not allowed to really tell yourself, well, how do I feel? You could tell yourself, you could be a man and feel like a dog, that's okay. You could be a woman and feel like a dolphin, that's okay. But if I'm a human being, I feel like being, a poet. I don't want to feel like being, oh no, God forbid, what's the matter with you? What's wrong with you? Or to that matter, sitting down in yeshiva and learning. Oh, my goodness, how long are you going to be sitting in yeshiva? Well, listen, I like to learn. What's your problem? That makes me happy. Oh, you're not going to have money. Okay, I'll get a job. Don't worry. I'll make do. I'll go work at Home Depot. The rest of the time I'll learn. What's the problem? No. Deliberately denying yourself. They teach you in society to deliberately deny yourself in claims of being responsible. Your greatest sense of responsibility is to yourself to really know who you are, what you are, how your life is going to be. What do you want out of life? Do you know what you want out of life? Do you know? You don't know. God forbid you ask yourself that question. Let's say, for example, you want to go, take a van and you want to go across this great country of the United States and just go up and down for 2 years. God forbid. Why? Why do you have to be locked in Queens, New York, or in I don't know where, Lakewood for that matter? Why can't you just, what? You want to tell me I cannot be a Jew in, the prairies of Wyoming? God is everywhere. Teach me how to be good in my Judaism. I'll be a Jew everywhere. I cannot be a Jew. If your Judaism is only valid when you're surrounded by 10,000 people just like you, I'm going to tell you, I have quite doubts about how strong your Judaism is all about. Sorry to say that. I don't care. Whoever doesn't like it, doesn't like it. I don't really care. Now I'm going to drink some water because, I was about to offer those people to drink some water, but I'm going to drink some water. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shakol nהיה bidvaro.
Amen.
So when you live life like this, even your physical assets that you are so eager to pursue become a curse to you. It's not a blessing, it becomes a curse to you. Things are not good or bad. Things depend on what you do with it. Is alcohol a bad thing or a good thing?
None.
Well, it depends what you do with it. It's nothing. Oh, and so on and so forth. Is a cookie, here, nice one. Is a cookie good thing for you or bad thing for you? Listen, well,
Depends.
it depends. Yeah, you're right. It depends what you do with it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you snort a cookie, that would be pretty bad. Yeah, it'll give you sinuses. But anyway, so, and when you live this kind of life, instead of giving you a sense of fullness and fulfillment, it only increases your inside internal appetite to get more and more and more, and that creates a tremendous imbalance inside of you. By the way, this is the perfect time to really understand why are we running around? Why are we putting such an effort? Why do it? What's the purpose? What am I doing with myself, right? Why are we taking risks? Why are we putting our energies of ourselves and, by the way, others also? Is it really worthwhile the effort? Is it really worthwhile the effort? If the goal, the end result that stands in front of your eyes is spiritual in its essence, it's very easy for us to really adapt ourselves to changes and to adapt ourselves to different situations. The problem that people don't want to adapt is because there's no spirituality in their lives, and therefore they will do anything to go back into the old routine that they know, because they don't know anything else. We don't have an ability to adapt. The Jews survived all these years for many reasons, but one reason is that the Jew's life was always for a spiritual cause. And therefore he was able to adapt to the situation. But when the Jew becomes comfortable and fat, spiritual cholesterol, he cannot adapt. And then he would disown his own mother, his own people. Because he doesn't care about that. He cares about his comfort. There's no spirituality in it. You want to kill a Jew, you don't have to take a gun, God forbid, and do that. And just make him comfortable. The Torah says, Vayishman Yeshurun Vayvat. When the Jew becomes a little fat, he kicks the bucket, he kicks everything he cares about. Eat and drink, because tomorrow we'll die. And that we are at fault in that as well. As somebody said, what a disgrace for the human race to be in the rat race. And we are in a rat race. Look at how we're trapped in terms of prices of real estate. For crying out loud, who could afford today a house? You want to go, let's say you want to go out of this cesspool, it's called Queens. You want to go to, I don't know, anywhere. You can't buy anything. It's so expensive. And yes, so because you're trapped here, nobody knows. So now they're going to change, for example, zoning, so the city can make more money on your back. And where are you going to go? What are you going to do? It's terrible. It really is terrible. And it's our fault. So when your values are secondary, when those values are secondary to materialistic goals that you set for yourself, there is going to be a very great difficulty to progress and develop society, and that's why our society stinks. That's why our society looks the way it looks. And unfortunately, we also, as frum Jews, as religious Jews, are part of society. We are also in that trap. And that's why we need to wake up. We need to wake up. What you guys went to when you went to Washington, D.C., you know what? Kol hakavod for you. It's the first time since, I think, 1967 that I saw so many Jews demonstrating for something that they made them get off the seats. I kept saying this for years now. What would it take for Jews? Why Jews are so busy going back about their daily routine? We need to understand, because this war that we experience is not just about us. This war that Israel is fighting right now in Gaza, that's the war between darkness and light. Now, I don't care what poison Ivy League school you go to, but this is all about the fight between darkness and light. About putting spirituality into that. How do they numb society? Very simple. Unleashed all ta'avot. Any kind of weird sex you can think of, go ahead. Any kind of drug that you want, go ahead. Drug the people, give them uncontrolled sex and orgies, just like in Rome. And it would fall down. There is no spiritual value, and it is your job, his job, and my job, and all of us' job to start doing this one day at a time. Those two forces that are inside each and every one of us, the body and the soul, the yin and the yang, they are all in each and every one of us. Esav represents the body awareness, the awareness of the body, which is selfishness, ego, materialistic, and Yaakov is the awareness of the soul, which is the need to connect to spirituality. By the way, a lot of people in Israel, not necessarily religious people, are feeling a need to connect to spirituality more than before. And yet, surprisingly enough, there is a great number of religious people that are questioning a lot of questions. So I'm going to tell you, based on where you're holding in terms of your goals, you can really see what's your need and what you're looking for. But that war in Gaza brought a lot of spirituality by a lot of people. Now, in our world, firstborn rights, what we call the Bechorah, the firstborn rights, really goes to the body. The body comes before the soul, and so on and so forth, right? It's just like the Mekubalim says, Kadma klipa lapri. First you grow the shell, then you grow the fruit inside of it. And you really see it like this. People care about their physical well-being, but people don't care about the spiritual well-being. People care about their physical cholesterol, not about the spiritual cholesterol. So, until the fruit really ripens, the shell, the klipa, which is the body in which the soul develops inside of it, it's the one that keeps you. So that's what you need. That's why a child, or a baby when he's born, he's completely all ego. Why? Because he needs that to maintain himself. He needs that sense of selfishness to maintain itself. But when he grows up, he needs to learn how to be less selfish and more selfless. And that's why today you have a lot of men that are just like grown-up babies. And that's very sad. By the way, this is also why we have a high rate of divorce. Because of selfishness. Of only being self-centered. It's my way or the highway. Again, as I told you, you tell me my way or the highway. I said, please, where's my bike? I'm out of here. I don't want to be in a relationship when somebody tells me my way or the highway. Don't want it. Because I don't want to make myself like that. So I'll disconnect, I'll go. This is not a problem. I don't have a problem with it. Now, most of the education that you need to go through when you have a child in the first years is really to overcome that esav that lives inside each and every one of us, right? Your ids and your urges and all your things that you want to do, that the body, until you become ben bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, and we assume that and that's why we call you to the Torah, and so on and so forth. This is when you start balancing things out until you reach a certain point. I mean, by the way, that's one of the reasons they say a person should learn Kabbalah at 40 years old. Why? Because by 40, hopefully, you're kind of tipping the equation a little bit more spiritual than that. Because to learn spirituality when you're all physical, it just doesn't. It's a waste of time. I mean, might as well just watch Family Guy or whatever it is you guys watch. You like South Park, the Mongolians, right? So when Esav, for example, comes back from hunting in the field, because he was chasing after his physical needs, he's very tired, he's exhausted, and the neshama, which is Yaakov, makes nazid adashim, makes lentil stews, lentejas, as we say in Spanish, yeah, which is nice and warm and fulfilling. Vayazad Yaakov nazid, vayavo Esav min hasadeh vehu ayef. The Zohar says the word nazid mishom lehazid. Lehazid is
betray.
Yeah. לחשוב מחשבות, לעשות תחבולות, to really contemplate a lot, right? And why? In order to steal from the body the rights for the firstborn, in order to become more dominant. Now, in our world, when we are enslaved to the body and to desires, and what else we need? I mean, God forbid, we have to pay rent, we have to pay bills, we have to pay for food, we have to have food. We have to have a place to sleep. We have to have sex, right? We have to have honor. Of course, we have to have honor. This is all the stuff that we need to have, right? And everybody will tell you what they will tell you. Imen kemach and Torah, right? Derech eretz kadeh. Yeah. Imen kemach and Torah. What happened if you're gluten intolerant? Right? The problem is that body without a soul has no life. It's a dead entity. It's a slab of meat. So it's basically just walls and a pile of furniture inside. A career without any spirituality would really grind you. A career without any kind of a spiritual satisfaction would make you miserable, would create stress to you. You're not going to like it, and you're going to become a nasty person. The Zohar also writes that Avraham dug the well, right? When he was digging the well by Avimelech, he was teaching the world how to do the Avodat Hashem. And what does it mean? Kevan shekara ota, since he dug the well, he brought water that would internally flow. And we said, what's the water? What's the water? Mei chesed, the water of chesed. In other words, what's chesed? Kindness. Be nice to people. Give from yourself to others. That's what Avraham Avinu did, right? And later on, after Avraham died, what does it say? V'chol ha'be'erot asher chafru avdei aviv. All the wells in which the servants of Avraham had, dug. And it says be'erot with bet aleph resh taf. Not be'erot with a vav, it's ktav chaser over there. And then it means it became one. All those wells became one, and that's why it's called it Be'er Sheva. One well of 7 different wells that combined together. But we read it Be'erot, so it means there was a lot of that. Why? Because that Be'er, that well, anywhere that our ancestors looked, they saw the Be'er. And by the way, that's also the Be'er of, what's her name, of Miriam. Anywhere they looked, they saw the source of life, an ability to give. They saw spirituality in it. They wanted to bring chesed anywhere they go. And that Be'er followed them. Until when? Until came the Plishtim. By the way, the first time you find, probably the only time that you're going to find the word hatred in the Torah is the Plishtim, the Philistines, not the Palestinians, like some idiots things. Yeah? Just let's make that clear. Maybe one time I should give you a real historical lecture about who, if there is such thing as Palestinians, and who are the people that call themselves like this. I mean, some of the problem really belongs to Abraham Lincoln, but that's a different story altogether. Sure. Now, when only time you find hatred is there, and hatred basically has no reason to it. Why did they do it? There's no reason. They just hate. That's what we as Jews not supposed to hate. We're supposed to remember what Amalek did to you. Remember, don't forget, but don't hate. Never hate. So, and until the Plishtim came and filled it up with afar, with dirt. And the Soda Davar, the real is, Shechazru bnei Avraham la'avodah zarah. After the time between the Plishtim, between the death of Abraham and until Yitzchak kind of found himself again, and you see it also in the word, because until that point, Yitzchak gets the bracha only because of Abraham. He does not get the bracha because of himself. Only after that, Avimelech says, "Now I know that Hashem is with you," because he decided to gain it back himself. In that period, everybody went back to do idol worshiping. In that period, everybody did idol worshiping. Now, Haya Olam Shamem, the word was desolate. Because nobody was there acknowledged the existence of God. Hey, by the way, just like today, the idols that we have today is us. We became the idols for ourselves. It's all about me. I worship myself. Self-worship. So, and it says, Vayashev Yitzchak vayachfor et beirot hamayim shechafru b'yimei Avraham. So what does it mean, Vayashev? Heshiv olamo l'tikron. In other words, he brought the world back into the place of acknowledging the fact that there is a God over there. And the Zohar refers to the story of those wells as a parallel to the ways of our forefathers to really spread the word out and in believing in one God into the world. Now, the world is really the source of Emunah, the bubbling brook of Emunah. After the death of Abraham, as we said, he went back again to Avodah Zarah until Yitzchak came. In other words, he spread this out all over again. And then it kind of picked up its momentum again. The Baal Shem Tov explains further, and he expands it a little further, that parallel of digging up the wells. He says that the reason of digging the wells was to find water in the dirt. To find water in the dirt. Can you just see what's going on there? And as we said, the afar is the materialistic reality that we have, and the water, of course, is the Torah. So we need to bring that. In other words, what we need to do is bring always the Kodesh into the Chol. Turn whatever is mundane to sanctify, to bring it into us. And that is bring the water up, take the water out from the afar. Afar is materialistic, right? So that's something that we need to do. That's the Baal Shem Tov, what it says. Avraham Avinu has his own way to find the divine lighthood, into the world. And after the death of Avraham, the Philistines closed that. It means that after the death of Avraham, the klipot, the shells, the husk of materialism took over the world. It just simply covered it all over the world. And what we call me'adat. The dat is the knowledge to be able to distinguish between what's good and what's bad. By the way, you'll see that this is exactly what we are going into the world today. Sometimes we really need like an event that will come in and change everything and kind of break the shells. Unfortunately, sometimes the event is just too great to carry. By the way, this is what happened during World War II. There was a great klippah, and then something great had happened, and great in terms of terrible thing that happened. It was the Holocaust. But from that event, what happened is the state of Israel. Now, if you don't like it, I don't care what you like or don't like, but it's a fact. After 2,000 years that we've been out, we came back to the land. Now, if you don't like and we messed it up, okay, we messed it up. We could have done a better society in Israel. Yes, we probably could. But it doesn't mean we cannot change it and bring it back to where it should be. But to say that it's the act of the devil or any kind of nonsense like that, that's absolutely nonsense. Now, at the end of At the end of that, when Yitzchak Avinu went by his way, and he kind of brought what we call Or Hashem Aganuz, the hidden light, he brought it back into light. That's what it means. He dug it up and he called them by the same names that his father called them, the same exact names. So at the end, the Baal Shem Tov says that in the merit of those wells that the Avot dug, and it's not just water, it's the pathways of us to sanctify the unsanctified, to bring the light into the darkness, to turn matter into spirit. Those pathways in which our forefathers set for us, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and therefore anybody else, until today, all those people, these are what we call mesilot be'avodat Hashem. These are the pathways in avodat Hashem, how to interact with God in the world. And because of that, we can come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu today. Because if it wasn't for that, we would have been lost. We would have been lost. We live in a very, very difficult and challenging time. There's always turmoils and things are changing. And many feel that a change has to come. The change has to come. And we do need to have a change. And by the way, it is all in our aspects of our lives. We should stop looking into, even politics. We should stop saying, you know what, I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican, I'm from the Likud, you are from this. No, we should stop with this. We are all Jews, different in opinions, which is good. It's good. It's wonderful that you are a leftist and I'm a conservative right. It's okay. Your opinion is important. My opinion is important. Your opinion is important to define the left. My opinion is important to define the right. And together we're going to find the middle way. But to shut people down or to dismantle them and to say, call people in names and so on and so forth, that's not our way. This is not the Jewish way. You look in the Gemara, people who don't understand, look at the Gemara, and they see this one says the opposite, this one always finds, but that's not true. It's the validity that we give to each and every one's opinion. Every opinion counts. Even if we don't paskin halacha like it, every opinion counts. We need everybody on board. We need everyone. And to that matter, as I said to you before, I don't care what's your political affiliation. I don't care what's your, I'll tell you this true. I'll be honest with you. I don't care what your sexual interaction or affiliation or how you call yourself. For me, it cares one thing. You're a Jew? Yes? You're my brother. Hold my hand. Let's form a line together and we'll push together. It's not about us. It's not what you do in your bedroom and it's not what you do in your voting poll. It's about the fact that we need to have a voice that brings light into darkness, turning matter into spirit. We should not divide. We should bring everybody on board. We should create an example of how things should be. Together with that, we should also give the message of, listen buddy, I'm a nice guy, but don't mess with me. Don't step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything, but don't step on my blue suede shoes. You know why? Because I'm going to knock you right in your face. That's just like Amalek. Don't start with me. You start with me, you're starting with all of us. Because we are together. The Jewish weapon is the fact that we are Jews for 4,000 years and we're all together. Every time we're together, things go right. Not only for us, for the whole entire world. We fall apart, everything falls apart. And this is our unity. This is our job, to unite and to unify people together. I'm sick and tired of hearing Ashkenazim, Sfaradim, Hasidim, Chilonim, Yemanim, Smolanim. I'm just sick and tired of hearing that. I'm just sick and tired of hearing that. I want to hear one thing. We're Jews. And we're all Jews. Each one to his own. Each one to his own. And it's okay. Each one has a special job and we need to respect that job. We need to start respecting the people. We need to start respecting ourselves. And this is the time, and the time now, and times like this, that's when great things can happen. Right now, when everybody's suffering, and you should see those amazing people. All the soldiers in Gaza don't have telephones. and they don't know what's going on in the world. And if you hear them speak, all they say is, "I want to make sure." They asked this guy. It was just fantastic. His face is covered. They said to him, "Do you? When was the last time you were home?" He says, "October 7th." He says, "That's the last time." He said, "Yep." "You spoke to anybody from your family?" "Nope." "What you're doing now is, do you feel hatred toward?" He said, "No, I don't feel hatred." So he says, "Well, how do you operate?" They say, "I operate out of trying to create a better future for my children, so they would have to live in a world with no war, in a world of safety." That's the essence of a Jew. However, you step on me, I'm going to hit you, but don't start with me. That's what those people are amazing. What people are doing, they're amazing. People are volunteering. People are giving money. Endless. Give. They give. They give. They give. That's what the Jew is all about. That's the way of our fathers. And we need to understand that. And listen, many nations made revolutions where there was a military coup or spiritual coup and so on and so forth. But all those events that happened seems like they brought humanity into a place of we are in a dead-end street right now. In terms of humanity, in terms of society, we're in a dead-end street. The change in which we need to apply now, the revolution in which we need to apply now, has to be a spiritual revolution. We need to be able to connect ourselves to spirituality. We need to connect ourselves to meanings. Whether it's our personal lives or as a national life. But we must do so in order not to be stuck. We need to be able to stand on our feet, because being stuck means death. Spiritual death is death also. So we can't do that. We need to create a better society for ourselves by bringing more spirituality to ourselves. So therefore, when for example, you are in shul, don't speak about politics. When you are among friends, don't speak about politics. Don't speak about things that create division among people. Talk about things that bring people together. Putting a shoulder to a shoulder, that's putting us together. And like this, we're going to create a better society, right? We're able to see the true nature of ourselves and the true nature of humanity and creation altogether, with a combination of doing, of action, and action with the meaning. That is basically the engine, the catalyst that helps us survive, that helps us move forward. So we need to be able to learn to give from ourselves. So again, we need to volunteer, we need to donate, we need to help. All these things, that's called asiyah im mashmaut, doing something with meaning. You need to start introducing meaning to your lives. And you can't put meaning in your lives unless you're going to ask, what am I looking for in this life? What is my life all about? And for that, the Mesilat Yesharim puts it better than anybody else. Chovat ha'adam be'olamo. What's your job in this world? What are you doing? What's your job? Not what's God's job, why God did this and why God didn't do the other thing, why He did this and He didn't do that. No, what I need to do. In other words, we need to start becoming more responsible. And to understand that the key to happiness is really in our hands. When we're going to be able to do so and able to really recruit and put together the goodness in each and every one of us, the uniqueness in each and every one of us, that's going to be a tremendous thing. We don't need John Lennon to tell me, imagine there's no this. I don't need to imagine. This is a song for losers. It's not a song for spiritual people. By the way, I really mean that. That's a song for losers. We need to understand that we need to become responsible and understand that our destiny is in our hands. We need to put meaning in our lives. We need to ask ourselves, what's the meaning? And we need to ask ourselves all the time, what could I do to help? Yes, you can fly to Israel and volunteer. And listen, those people who sit there in Gaza, they lost their business. There are people that have been there a month. Their businesses have gone to the garbage. People left their houses. People left the business. People left their families. And they're going there because of the sense of duty. Most of the people did not have to be called upon. They just joined in. They showed up and joined in. We should take and learn from that as well. Nobody should come and tell you to volunteer. You should ask, excuse me, what could I do? And there's nothing to do. So guess what? I'm going to make something to happening. Each and every one of us. That's what is required of us to do. You want to know what's the key to success? You know what's the key to have good life? You know what's the key to have happy life? That is the key. That is the key. Give, and give with meaning. Look for platforms to give, not to receive. My father used to tell me all the time, always be from the sides who's giving. Never be from the sides of receiving. The only one you should receive from is from Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.